Guys, today we are going to be discussing about the testing methodology. So basically, what is testing methodology? We will see it. So every company will follow some methodology. So every company having different methodology. So what is methodology? First, we will see. So every testing methodology provide a productivity solution that ensure the software projects meet the business requirement for the necessities whatever we needed for it and managing the user's experience. So what as a QA we have to do? So QA team, what they will do means the QA testing methodology which gives us the directions why and how to test the applications. Basically, why to test the application and how to how how testing should be executed, how we are going to be executing our testing, we can say that. So testing methodology which going to giving us this process how to follow to complete our task. So we here when we go to the testing methodology, so software development lifecycle having the different modules, we can say that modules or methodology. So software development having the various process of methodology which we are going to select to develop the project. So we have to follow some um, we have to select one methodology or we can call it as a module to complete our task. So every whenever we there are many here also in the software development life cycle as we having the life cycle here also in the methodology we are also having different types of phases, we can say that in each methodology we having the different phases which we are going to be following. The selection of process of highly impacted on the testing career. So it is whenever we are selecting it, how the testing is going to be processed. So it is defined what, where, when of our plan of testing influence of regression testing is longerly determined and the technical analysis. So we having the various types of methodology in the market. I can give a simple example like that. So we having different university, Usmania University, JNTU University, Mahatma Gandhi University. So we can choose any of that college which having the standards. So here also the IT companies we having the different methodologies. In that methodologies we can choose any one of the methodology. So we having the waterfalls methodology, we having the V model methodology, we having the incremental model methodology, we having the uh, rapid aid development methodology, agile methodology, iterative methodology, spiral methodology. So we having lot of methodologies in the market. Even we will see with waterfalls methodology. So waterfalls methodology is the first process model is introduced. So this is the first methodology which is going to be called as a linear sequential life cycle model. It is simple and easy to understand. The waterfalls methodology having each phases which we have to complete before going to the next phase. So here we have to complete one phase after the another phase we have to do it. Uh, so waterfalls methodology, it is first one is a similar like SDLC. So requirement phase, analyzing phase, design phase, coding phase, testing phase, then acceptance phase or maintenance phase. And there we have calling it as a maintenance phase. So here this model is what we are going to do in this model. First, the testing work the perfect for the small or less. So when to choose this model, we having a doubt. So what is the advantages? First, we will see the advantages. Then we will see disadvantages when to use this model. So main advantages, it is used to plan and maintaining the project requirement easily. I can say that it is and it is simple and easy to use. And one more thing, which we are going to be used in this which increase the speed of the project. I can say that implementations of the project and testing methodologies. So coming to the drawbacks, I can say that the disadvantages, once the application is in the testing phase, it is very difficult to go back to do some changes in the previous stage. Suppose why? Because once I have started working in this model, so once the requirement is collected, then I have to analyze it, then I have to design it, then I have to do the coding, then I have to and testing, then I have to maintain. So again from the starting onwards I have to go. So it is impossible to go back from the testing phase to uh, testing phase to the coding phase, from the coding phase to the we can come from the coding phase to the testing phase, but we can't able to go back. And there is a one more disadvantages which we can say that it is predefined methodologies. So whatever the standards we have defined at the initial time of the test plan, we have to follow that methods. We can't able to skip anything. Even slight modification is not allowed. So if you want to do any changes, for example, the client has decided first in the Facebook application, first he has decided to add the images, but after sometimes he has decided whenever I'm adding the images, the people has to like my images. So that feature he want to introduce. So if I follow the waterfalls method, I have to complete totally that one. I have to make a release, then I have to go. Then only I have to go back to the requirement phase and I have to collect it and I have to implement it. So in the middle of the project, we can't able to implement any changes. So the changes is not going to be accepted in the middle of the project. So when we are going to be using, so everyone having a doubt, nowadays I can say that 90% companies, 99% companies are using the Agile methodology, but still there is some companies which they are going to be using. So which type of companies are using, why they are using? Basically HRMS resource management system companies can use this project. Why? Because they're having a less limited. So for a organization, in a organization I'm having a of 10 people, a small organization staff of 100 people, so I can maintain that information easily. Why? Because they're having a routine information every day. They have to log in, they have to log out, and they are doing the same. Customer relationship management, sales applications, some inventory type of applications, they can be used. So when we are going to be using, means when we know all the requirements. So I have told you HRMS application is there. So HRMS applications, so what are the features we having, what are the requirements we having here, means the person has to log in and log out. If they have taken any leaves, they have to maintain the leave status, um, types of leaves. So this is a standard structure. So there it is not going to be change anything. So whatever the holidays is there, it is predefined the holidays, everything is meant. So in middle we can't able to make any changes. So that type of projects we can use this waterfalls model. The product is defined and stable. So the product is going to be stable forever. So HRMS applications have given example. So in that applications, if the employee vacant, if the employee resign, in that place a new employee will come. The same thing, the standard technology should be understanding, no ambiguous in the requirement. When the um, is collecting the requirement, the team should know which requirement is useful. There is no confusion to choose the requirement in further. Is this requirement is needed for us or not? um, or not, there should not have any confusion. Simple resource of the so whenever who is collecting the resources, they should have the experience or expertise to collect the requirements properly. Mostly this is going to be used for the short term process, short project, I can say that short for the short projects which we don't have more problem to collect the requirements. Okay, next model is a spiral model. So spiral model, what is mean by spiral model? It is an incremental model, more emphasis placed on the risk and analysis. This model having four phases. So basically, waterfalls model having six phases. Six phases. First is the requirement phase, analyzing phase, design phase, coding phase, testing phase, and acceptance and maintenance, we can say it. We having these phases. So coming to the spiral model, in the spiral model, what the spiral model is a quality assurance technique which we are going to be incorporate with the waterfalls model and iteratives model. It is a combination of waterfalls model and iterative model. I can say that iterative is nothing but reputational task. In the waterfalls model, what we are going to be just uh, completing the task and we are going back and we are coming from the starting onwards. So here also, this is also similar like that, but mostly collecting of the requirements which is going to be parallelly to be parallelly it is increasing parallelly we can do it. So it having four phases. First one is evaluation phase. Show you. First phase we can say that I can say that planning phase, evaluation phase, like anything. First phase is the planning phase. Next is the risk analysis. Once we have planned it, then we are going to be analyzing the risk. Next one, engineering phase. And next phase is evaluation phase. So we having four phases. So first phase, some plan phase is also going to be called as a identification phase. So we are going to be identifying what we have to do. So once we have identified, then we are going to be um, once plan phase. So, for example, in plan phase. So once we will identify the requirements, identify the requirements, identify the requirements. So once I have identified the requirements, then I have to analyze the requirement. So here analyzing is what type of risk with this requirement. Suppose I'm having a project. My project consisting of 5 pages: login page, inbox page, add friend page, delete friend page, logout page. I'm having these 5 modules. First, what we will do in this spiral model, for the login, I will collect the requirements. I will collect all the requirements. So once I have collected the requirements for the login page, whatever the requirements I have collected is sufficient. I will analyze that one and I will construction phase. Uh, I will start designing that one. And once it is designing in the evaluation phase, we are going to be performing the testing and we are going to be sending that to the customer. So it is a repetition task which we are going to be performing. So main benefit here is the time box approach. We can approach at with a particular uh, time so that we have delivered this part, and And for this one, for everything we are going to be maintaining a document. So planning phase, what we will do means we will collect all the requirements, and the analyzing phase we will identify the alternative solutions to resolve the problem. Engineering phase we are going to be developing. Evaluation phase, we will evaluate the output what we are getting. So main advantages, it is a high amount of risk is analyzed. So here risk is going to be analyzed. Why? Because uh, once only I am collected the requirement, at the end in the middle I am not able to find that requirement, it will be a big problem. If I am collecting the less requirement, it is easy to understand. For good for the long project, it is good. Strong approval documentation control, so we need a strong documentation for this one, and additional functionality can be required later. Disadvantages, cost is more. So in general I can say that for every time for one vegetable, if I am going to the market means definitely the cost will be increased. If I buy the all the items in a single shot, the cost will be less. If I am going on buying the item single, the cost will be more. And risk analysis required in the high specifications, and the project success is highly dependent on the risk analysis. If they are not properly risk analysis, there may be a chances of failing this project. So whoever working on the risk analysis, they have to identify what type of risk we are going to be facing. Then it does work for the smaller project. When we are going to be using means when the cost and risk evaluation is important. So when people will say that we can invest the money, but we need accurate results at that time, mm, and this one is going to be used. And long term project, it is going to be used when the requirements is not properly when the requirements is not properly understand a requirements or complexity for new project line, significant changes is accepting in the middle of the project. At that time we are going to be using this one. V model. So V model is a verification and validation model. Uh, So verification and validation model, which we are going to be verifying the application and testing and validating it. Okay. So it's just like a word, but it is a sequential path of executing the process. It is a sequential execution of the process which we are going to be planning in parallel with coordinator. So it is V model is nothing but which we are going to be executing in the parallelly. Once the code is get ready, we are going to be executing. So first we will see what is verification and validation. So in general, verification means what? Main to ensure the product is built right or not. Suppose mm, whenever you are going to be creating your Gmail account, first what whenever you have entered the details to create a account, it will verify with your phone number that your phone number is correct. So it will send the OTP to your phone number. It will send the OTP to your phone number. So if it is if you enter that one, uh, that OTP number, it is verified, and it will give you permission to access that application. Okay, to access that application. And validation, so once it is validated, so you have validated with the password, from the next time onwards what it is going to do, it is going to um, it is going to access you are able to access your mail, so which ensure the product has been built uh, uh, meets the requirement as per the expectations of the user. So here mainly verification is going to be ensuring this, ensure the product is being built correctly or not. So validation, it ensure that uh, it ensure the product that has been built meets whatever its built meets the uh, needs and expectations of the user. So it mainly focus on the actual product to ensure that it specify the expected to the reality. So validation, what it is going to be focusing, it is focusing on the development. So whenever you are entering, you are creating the your account, new, I can say the Gmail account, and checking the system conforming with the specific requirements or not. It is what is the main goal here for the uh, is uh, mainly it has to give the permissions. I can say that it has to give the permissions. Once if you get the permission, it then you are going to be accepting that one. Okay. Next one, we will go back to our V model. So in V model, it is going to be happen in parallelly. So in the V model, what we are going to do is we whatever the requirements we have, uh, once the coding has been when they are doing the coding, unit testing is going to be happen. When the middle level design is happening, the testing team is going to be testing the component testing. We are going to be the application is designed 60%, we are for performing with the system testing. So here the things is going to be happen parallelly. So what is the advantages of this model is it is simple and easy to use. The testing activities like plan and design can be happened before the coding, save lot of time, and hence high changes of success over the waterfalls model. Compared to waterfalls model, the success rate is more, and productivity to find the defects and avoid the downtime of finding the defects, work well for small projects where the requirements is easy understand. Coming to the disadvantages, the software development during the implementation phase is so early to prototype the software products. If any changes is happen in the middle, the tester need a document with the requirements. So when we are going to be using this model means V model is going to be used by some companies for the small and medium sized projects, when the requirements are clearly defined and fixed. The V model has been a simple technical analysis and needed high confidential of customer requirement chosen in the V model, since this prototype product is highly risk is involved. Next one, incremental model. So coming to the incremental model. So coming to the incremental model is the whole requirement divided into uh, builds. So incremental one after another, we are going to be maintained. Multiple development life cycle is going to be happen here. So what I will collect all the requirements. So once I have collected the requirement, then designing and development phase, testing phase, implementation phase, I'm going to be dividing it into the n number of builds. So first build, I will complete it. Then if it is success, I will go to the second build. Mm, Whatever the leftover work is there in the first build, I will take that work, and the second build work I'm going to be working. So build wise we are going to be working here. So what is the main advantages of incremental model? Generate the work quickly and easy during the software development. So once we have collected all the requirement, then we can continue next work. So every time to go to the market and buy, collect the requirement, it will be a huge work for me. So if everything is ready, it is easy to maintain. So this model is more flexible and less cost. The changing the scope of the requirement, it is easy and test during the small iteratives. This model, the customer can respond in for each build. So customer is going to giving the response for the each build. Low initial develop, delivery cost. So delivery cost will be also very less. So coming to the disadvantages, if you want to use this one, so you need to have a good plan and design, and need a clear and complete definitions of the whole system before it is broken into some incremental model. And total cost is lesser than the waterfalls model. So cost is very less in this model. So when we are going to be using this model is required the complex systems, complex thing is understand clearly, then we can use this one. Okay. And new technologies has been used. Whenever we having the new technologies, we can use this one. So there are the lot of different types of methodologies which are there in the market. So most of methodologies which we are going to be used, we will discuss that methodology only. Rapid application development methodologies. So this is also methodology which is uh, going to be used for the components and the functional development methodology. So this methodology having what we can do it similarly like waterfalls model, it is going to be divided into number of days. So 60 days we have to complete this one, for 60 days we have to complete this one. So once they will collect the business requirements, once they collected the requirement, what data we need to add, and what type of processing we have to do, and application generation. So this model is mostly we are not going to be used by many of these companies. So that's why I'm skipping. And most important thing which we are going to be working 99, I can say that mostly 70 to 80% we are going to be following this methodology. So this is Agile methodology. So Agile methodology is dissimilar like waterfalls method. So waterfalls methodology, what we having the phases, we have to complete all the phases, then we have to go back. So here it is not like that. So Agile methodology is going to be called as a incremental model methodology, which is going to be called as an incremental model methodology, where the test where testing testing or executed at the end of each iterative. So we have a n number of iteratives. So after every iterative, it is going to be executed. So it can cover the all the phases of testing software development life cycle. So in the software testing life cycle also, it is going to be covering the all the phases. And for all the methods, it is the best method which which uh, s- which the customer, client, everyone having a connectivity to work with, work as a single unit. So this is one methodology. I can say that this is a one methodology which we are going to be following. In this methodology, we are going to be following as a sprints. So every sprint having one cycle. So that sprint, I can say that sprint in sprint containing number of days. So my sprint containing 15 days or 10 days. Some sprint containing, most of sprints containing 2 weeks. Some companies containing 1 week. 1 week. So here, once the meeting has kickoff meeting has happened, the sprint plan will be start. Once the plan has been start, here everyone is going to be involved and they will start deploying this module. So once this module has been one, we can call it as a sprint. Once this sprint has been covered, then they will move for the another sprint, or they can move into the another sprint. Okay. So what is the advantages of this methodology? So what is advantages of this methodology? So main advantages of this methodology, it is a continuous integrational delivery. So in Agile methodology, we can say that continuous and integrational, continuous integrational and continuous delivery. Sorry, CICD. Continuous delivery. So here what happened means everyone will follow a similar methodology and which we are going to be using. So what are the main advantages of, main principles of this methodology? I can say that main principles of this methodology is e- early and continuous testing. So what happened means when we are following the Agile methodology. So for example, I told you I'm having these 5 modules: login, inbox, add a friend, delete a friend, log out. So this is one module. This is another module. This is another module. This is login module. So this is inbox module. This is add a friend module. This is delete a friend module. This is logout module. So logout module. So every module, what they will do means they will divide it, whatever the requirements is there in this module. What they will do means they will, and they will divide it into the sprints. Every module they will going to be divided into the sprint, and they for this module they will divide it into the sprint, and they can work on that sprint they can do the work parallelly also. Here the main advantage is the customer satisfaction is rapidly. Main advantages here is and continuous delivery and continuous integration. Peoples are going to be interact in the each phase. So in the test plan phase, what happened means when we having a sprint plan, at that time everyone is going to be involved here. I will show a figure. So when we having a uh, the product owner will be there, the product owner will divide it into the sprint or the scrum master, we can say that. So whole team is going to be involved in the testing plan. So who is the whole team? Whoever working for that module, they are going to be working. They are going to be working on this process. Once here, once every the sprint has been started, here the whole team is going to be involved. So here the whole team is stakeholders, developers, customers, everyone is going to be interacting. So here what is the advantages of everyone? If you having any doubts, you can ask the customer, you can directly it to the correct person so that you will get the information immediately correctly. Working working the software is deliverable frequently rather than month-wise. So here we are going to be giving the releases in the form of sprints. So every sprint we are going to be releasing, and face-to-face conversations which resolve many problems, and closely working with the each team, which which help us peop, uh, which helping us to interact with the people and get attention to the required work. So one of disadvantages and main advantages in this waterfall agile methodology, we can make the changes at the early stage also. So what is the main advantages? If we want to do any changes, we can do the changes at the early stage. So customer satisfaction, because every sprint working the futures to be delivered to them. So basically we are going to be delivering in the form of sprints, so customer can uh, look the working futures to fulfill their requirement. If the customer has giving the feedback, we will, if the customer has given the wrong feedback, so in the next sprint we are going to be taking that one and we are going to be working on that specific requirement. In the agile methodology, daily interaction or requirements between the business people and developers. So there will be a daily interaction in this methodology. So people will get the information immediately. So waiting till the one after the sprint, it is a very difficult. So we can interact with the people and we can complete our work within the in time. So disadvantages coming is documentation. Most of documentation is, we will not maintain the documentation. Why we are not going to maintain it? So I told you, we are going to be accepting the changes at any time in the middle of the if we want to accept the changes once the sprint has happened, in the next sprint the changes we are going to be working. Okay, less documentation is there, so it is a little confusion for the new people. And sometimes other methodology requirements is not cleared. Why? Because we have to take the requirements whenever we need. So there may be some confusion to collect the requirements. And few projects are started from the software development life cycle and difficult to estimate the actual effect. So when we are going to be using this project, whenever the new changes is needed and need to be implemented, at that time we are going to be using this one. Okay. And coming to the cost is also very less compared to the other methodologies, and it is implement a few features in the developer may lose it. And what are the main activities which we are going to be perform in this test in this phase is collecting the requirement. Once we have collect the requirement, then analyze it, test design, we have to implement test execution, and defect management is also be manageable by agile methodology, and release maintenance. We can use. So, so whenever we are using agile methodology, what the tester should know means tester should have the uh, skills like communicating, strong communications. What are the skills needed for the agile methodology as a tester? I'm saying, and strongly in the technical skills, strongly problem solving skills. They should have strongly on playwright, play any activities which is going to be performed. Okay, this is all about the agile methodology. So in agile methodology we are going to use as a incremental model. So if we are using following the agile methodology, what is as a end user, what I'm going to do is whenever we are following agile methodology, the input comes from the customer or anyone, we will start working on this one. Suppose here I'm having a login page I'm having five functionalities. So that five functionalities I have to complete it within the sprint. So sprint duration is 10 days for me. So within the 10 days I have to uh, perform the task. So what I will do means, suppose I have performed 8 tasks only. 8 tasks I have completed. So whatever the 8 tasks I have completed, I will send to the uh, we will we will send that one for review. The review has been completed. Suppose for example I have told you for 10 days we have it. So within these 10 days I have to complete my 10 tasks. So, but I have completed only uh, 8 tasks only I have completed. I'm having two backlogs. So, what I have to do based on the comments. So, due to my problem, I have not completed, or due to the application problem, it has not completed. So, what I will do, I will send this based on the suppose it's my mistake. I have not completed within this time. So I will move this one to the next sprint. Okay, these two stories to the next sprint. Suppose these two stories is need to be improvement later after completion of some other work. So it is a dependency of that work. What we are going to do, we will move that one to the product backlog. Okay. So here the person who is taking care of the sprint. So we having the sprint meetings, we having daily stand-up meetings. So in that one, the product owner will take care of the things. Things. So and every day we having a meeting with the person. having the meeting, daily stand up meeting we having. So why we having a daily stand up meeting? To interact what work we have completed, what work we are going to do for the next sprint. So we are going to be discussing here in the sprint plan. So we having the sprint retro meetings, we having everything. So this topic we are going to cover in the next class. So thank you guys.